welcoming all our viewers from here at home and abroad to International Affairs. This is being broadcasted from the SATV's Gulshan studio. I am your host Shamsul Alam Pantho, as I have various updates from around the globe in the geopolitical arena. Before I begin our discussion today, let me introduce our panelists. Here in the studio, I have Major Dr. Khosrow Samad, who has served in the Bangladesh Army and is a doctor of pharmacology. I welcome you on to the program. Thank you for joining us on a very short notice. On the other side, we have Norman Floyd Barnes, our geopolitical correspondent from Washington District of Columbia. A very good morning to you, Norman. I want to begin with Norman on this specific issue that we see. At least 31 are confirmed killed after Israeli attacks southern Lebanon. And on the other side, we see that the IDF is taking a stance in Gaza, attacking the latest leader of Hamas yesterday. Of course, this is a new step to see that led by Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, and commanding of the IDF, even while this huge festival is upon us, the Eid al-Adha. Many are celebrating it worldwide today, as well as it will be celebrated here in Bangladesh tomorrow. I want to begin with Norman Floyd Barnes. The position of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, in these latest strikes. As we have seen, Iran and the US are sharing somewhat retaliatory strikes between one another. However, the US administration claims that it is an act of self-defense. I want to begin with Norman Floyd Barnes. How are you seeing these updates as it appears, and what are the updates you have for us from Washington, District of Columbia? Norman.
Greetings today. Good morning from Washington. Today we wake up for another day of Washington trying to understand and create a memorandum of understanding between the Iranians regarding the ceasefire. The two issues right now is the sanctions and the nuclear weapons, what to do and how to manage that. In the meantime, the United States has yesterday initiated what they call a self-defense task of attacking gunboats that was planning to set mines in the strait, and also missile sites that was targeted U.S. bases. So as a result of that, the Iranian government has indicated that they will retaliate on the United States and Israel within the region. The specifics of that has not been given out, but we can expect some type of response in the very imminent future regarding that. So right now we're waiting to see regarding the issue of retaliation, what level would that be in terms of response from Iran, and what and how would that affect the negotiations on the table right now as we sit. So here in the United States, we had a incident. I know we was talking about California and the rupture of a chemical facilities. That facility has that required 40,000 people to evacuate the area. That has been stabilized and contained, and so it appears that's going to be okay. However, in the state of Washington, there has been another incident where one person was killed, 9 people was injured, and 9 other people are missing from a chemical hazmat explosion at a chemical plant. So these incidents are now becoming more prominent, more concerning as we move forward within this year. States are now looking at how they're going to address the emergency management issues as we try to figure out what's going on for the elections. So we are moving forward, but right now the big issue is what is the status of Iran and the United States, and how this situation in the Strait of Hormuz is going to be addressed.
Right. Interesting updates from Norman Floyd Barnes. I hope that those in relation to the chemical outburst, as you've mentioned, are all right and in safer hands. Coming back to the studio with Dr. Khosrow Samad, Norman was talking about what is the current status of the Strait of Hormuz. It has economical impacts as well. Yesterday, in the last 24 hours, according to Iran's IRGC, 25 vessels have transited the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, it is nowhere near the commercial freedoms it had served way before this war of act of aggression had begun in the first place. I want to also know from you how you see this recent confrontation while Muslims, 1.8 million Muslims are in Saudi Arabia performing their Hajj rituals. How do you see this? First time I have seen that the holy pilgrimage is being conducted in the backdrop of a war.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very sensitive issue and it should be addressed sensitively as well. However, let us focus few lights what happened in the couple of the hours back. Sure. In the Iran and basically in the Iran. As we know, there was a ceasefire. Ceasefire, it does not mean the ceasefire for a long period, but the ceasefire, it was continuing. So it is expected from the both of the parties, none will hit others. But we saw in the Port Abbas, and the southern part of the Iran. So USA attacked day before yesterday.
Right.
So it's absolutely violations of the ceasefire, and it's very unexpected and unfortunate. But from the point of the view of the America, or America has said, US has said, this is for the self-protection, this is not the attack, for the removing of the mine and others, they attacked. However, this is not much expected, and again the peace is in the threat. And parallelly, in the Lebanon, we saw the attacks by the Netanyahu and his followers, that means Israel. It is also gave them more momentum. Attacks has been a very high explosion. Now focus on the Holy Hajj. Is as you say, it's a Holy Hajj. It's a sentiment of the all the Muslims are theirs,
right.
And this is the history of the Abraham, as we know, the sacrifice of his son that comes from the animal. Then the animal has the sacrifices. So Allahumma labbaik, Allahumma is chanting of all yes. the pilgrims with the holy hearts, and they are praying for the Muslim Ummah of throughout the world, including Bangladesh. And Khatib's language was translated in the different languages, including Bangla. It's a pride for us that is translated in Bangla. And as you know, in the US, a lot of the Muslims are there. Those are from the Bangladesh. They are bringing a lot of the remittance. We are called the remittance fighters. Now the main thing is that, as you said, that right. is from their national prayer or the prayer of there is no issue of the Iran or neither the Gaza. It was expected because above all, though if you see all the religions have the two or three sub branches, like the Christians, they are the Orthodox and the others, and the Buddhists, they are the four Orthodox, and the Muslims are Shia and the Sunni. Whatever the things may be, also the followers of the holy books. So it was expected that was there. But as you said, this time the security is very high. Security and a digital identity card was given. That was the first time digital identity card was given. So it is easier. For myself, I was lucky that I could able to perform the Hajj. So I came across the total system, and the throwing of the stones to the shaitans, and the Burj Khalifa, and the Sa'i in the other places. There are a lot of the events, lot of the steps, lot of the rituals of the Hajj. So there's huge Muslims from the Bangladesh, 78,000, and total is 80 lakhs more or less. So to accommodate the huge population is very sensitive issue, giving their provided the food, logistics, security, safe water, safe food. It is not a matter of joke. And the transport, there are a lot of the ladies are there, children are there are the different cultures, many of them cannot speak English. So it's a huge job. We must lucky in the previous couple of years we did not see any occurrence that due to the negligence of the Saudi Arab authority. But there are very sensitive issues. As you have asked me, right. We could remember the issue of the 79, the Holy Makkah was attacked. And they said, the group of the people, they said from their point of the view that it is the place of the Allah, but it is captured by the Saud family, like the Saudi Arabia. So their point of the view, it should be removed from their the royal regimes. And it was possible for them. They planned for the years together and make a whole from the deeper part of the holy state, and ultimately they could able to go in the hot spot. And they used a very sophisticated weapon, if we can remember, very sophisticated weapon. Ultimately there is all the collisions, and ultimately what happened, there is a heavy bloodshed within the holy places. And another country, that other than Muslim, none cannot enter in this holy place. But that times the sniper was required for the, as you know, the sniper, one hit by the one bullet, and one bullet should be specified persons. So it is very touchy. If you give the global or in a cluster of the bombs, there are every risk to be injured or kill of the others pilgrims. That is why one special came from the France, and he was converted to the Muslim, and he was allowed to go inside. So this is a long history. It is a bloodshed, and there are the bloodshed in the holy places. Others in the India, the Sheikh's place, that times also happened.
The Golden Temple as well.
Exactly. So this is the very sensitive issue. We should be more careful. Each and every life is valuable. Each and every place of the world is valuable. Even then, it should be dealt in a very sophisticated and very carefully.
Very interesting points raised by Dr. Khosrow Samad in the studio. Of course, as in the past, we see today that the Saudi Arabia and the holy sites is covered in a blanket of weaponry, radar systems, and a technology that is very modern, very common. To be able to host 1.8 Muslims from around the globe is no short feature. Of course, it is important to also understand, as you've mentioned, the Saud family that would directly link Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, to this very issue. I want to ask Norman Floyd Barnes how you see this, as it is important to understand, because as my guest here in the studio mentioned, Prophet Abraham, or in Islamic terms Prophet Ibrahim, we want to also understand the Abraham Accords, a treaty that Donald Trump and the US administration has influenced much on the Gulf cooperation countries, and it comes in as a recognition of the state of Israel. I want to just get a comment on how you felt being able to force down upon this treaty. Multiple Muslim nations have said that they do recognize Israel. I want to get a comment because in our opinion and journalistic perspectives, we only see that year on out Israel is continuing its genocidal practices, of course in Gaza with the Palestinians, as well as now in southern Lebanon, as the yellow line may in the coming days be extended towards various parts of Lebanon as well. How do you see this, Norman, and what are your opinions?
Yes, as I see it, as we discussed the Hajj in Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian family and government has denounced the state of Israel. They will say that they are not willing to accept them as a official state, and not welcome them to the Abraham Accords. So the point is that the acts and the military actions and the profile of Israel is being viewed as a negative in terms of Saudi Arabia and some of the countries in the region. And this is going to probably cause a problem with the United States in its discussions of the Abraham Accords by not having Saudi fully in accord with dealing with Israel. So as we speak about that, Israel is still continuing on this campaign, its journey, its military ambitions. And this is really going to be an issue, even with the ceasefire, because it appears that Israel has its own agenda, has its own plan regardless of what happens with the issue in Iran with the U.S. Israel still has its military mission, and it appears that no one is willing to address how they're going to control Israel. So Israel is working basically independent, even though they are supporting the United States. They're working on a military mission that is not inclusive of the United States.
Right, and thanking Norman Floyd Barnes for your statements, opinions regarding the Abraham Accords as well. Just to mention, a couple of days ago here in Bangladesh, our Home Minister has said that the word valid for all countries except Israel shall be reinstated in Bangladeshi passports as well. With that being said, it's time to take a short commercial break. Afterwards, we look at other updates from around the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, do stay tuned on this very program.
For China to come to agreement,
they will face better projects
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantho.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen,
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks,
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
they will face better projects
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
Simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Alam Pantho.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
opening an open war conflict with them,
testing nuclear missiles,
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing,
special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen,
really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks,
preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
they will face better projects
with presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being
Welcoming our viewers back on International Affairs. I'm of course joined with Norman Floyd Barnes from Washington, as well as Major Dr. Khosrow Samad in the studio. I want to change the rhetoric and the narrative of this very discussion to focus on the historical importance of a sacrifice. Of course, relates back to the Abrahamic religions as well. In the divine love for his child, God has sent a divine animal in the face of sacrifice, and that is how this religious Hajj and pilgrimage and sacrifice came about. Today, Indonesian Muslims are praying on Eid al-Adha as it comes down on the economy. They will be praying at the Al-Azhar Mosque in Jakarta as men knelt on prayer mats in coordinated rows as their cows and goats awaited slaughter in the compound, a ritual commemorating Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to obey God. Some worshippers said the number of sacrificial animals appeared to be low this time around because of economic hardship and global uncertainty. Certainly, that was the picture drawn in Indonesia. However, I want to compare it with the Muslims who are living very nearby us, very near to our borders in the state of West Bengal, in the union known as India. There has been a recent political change in that state which has allowed and coming back to very old rules of the book in which slaughtering processes have been downplayed. I want to ask this very question in the studio first with Dr. Khusru Samad. This very same festival, very same ritual, any way you put it, should be celebrated, if not observed, in the same methodology, in the same manner. However, it's not so this year around in West Bengal. Your comments will be helpful, sir.
Thank you very much. India, by the constitution, is a secular country. So the fundamental questions of the secular, we cannot dishonor or disrespect of the belief, faith, spiritual aspect, sensitivity of the other religion. And the previous, we know that it was separated from the British rule 1947. Since then, in the western part of the Kolkata, which having the more or less cultural similarity with the Bangladesh, as you took the Paschim Bongo, it's called the Purbo Bongo. Language is same, Bangla, and the cultural heritage more or less same. And there is a large population of the Muslim in the Kolkata, as we have the large population of the Hindu in Bangladesh as well. Now, with the previous history, it was initially it was by the Jyoti Basu, that was a communist country. Despite of the communist country, we saw at least from the religion point of view, they were absolutely secular, and we did not learn, we did not hear this sort of the activities previously in his regime. And the communist regime was more or less 30 years or more than that. Then the communist regime has gone, the Trinamool Congress, as you know, by the Mamata, is one part of the main Congress led by the previous historical Congress. And in that period, that was also, there is no problem for the, for the sacrificing of the animals, whatever the animals may be. But this time, officially by the law, they has erected a legal aspect. They have stopped two things. One, in the saying the prayers on a specific locality.
Right.
And since that locality, the saying prayer happened since 100 years back, as far the history says. So we can go back and we can see the same places it was used. But this time, they have given, layman excuse, I must say, where they said this is a military prone area for the military privacy and the military diplomacy. So it should be, should be conducted at that place. So my question, if it is a military concern, so whatever that happened in the last 100 of the years, there is no problem. So as you know, the Shubhendu Adhikari and the BJP leaders, that it is fanatic, is eccentric, and his body language, he is telling there is no hide and seek, he is speaking. Number two, selling the cow more specifically, because in the holy pilgrims we usually in this Indian subcontinent, we have the cow, but in the Arabs they have the camel, they have and other things. But in here, the cow is the main things, and we can take the cow for divide into 7 halves. So for the middle class who cannot afford for a goat or like that, he can go for the 1/7 of his part. So it is easier to consume or to afford. It's a whole year they are struggling for that specific day. On the other part, who sell the cow? This is the baselines. They are the underprivileged people. They take the loan. The Indian system is very, very dynamic. They give the agro-based or poultry-based or animal-based. So this loan, they take the loan for the whole year. They used to take the cattle and make it reasonable or presentable for this specially. So they cannot sell because there is an embargo. And if cannot sell, as they cannot, sacrifice in the other parts, so it is the wastage and their investment should be a loss game, and they're the poor people. There is no out. But the contradiction is that the total world, the selling of the beef, India rises the third part, Brazil
as an export, yes.
As an export. So it is being slaughtered. It is being slaughtered maybe in a specific place, but that things is very clear that cow is slaughtered. So there is a controversial self-contradiction, and yes, it not only hurts the Muslim sentiment, it also creates the democratic approach of the Indian, secular approach of the Indian throughout the world. It must be a threat, and it is a question, because India is one of the largest secular country, rather the largest secular country, and the largest population second country. If they show the fanatic attitude or eccentric attitude, it harms. It will not a good sign at all.
Of course, and it is important that we raise this very issue, because religious harmony in a society, in a secular society, and one who claims to be the greatest democracy in the world, should be given some kind of importance. Thanking Dr. Khosrow Samad, very important analysis. I also want to get a remark from Norman Floyd Barnes in Washington. Of course, a post-World War era rule or an act inside India's administration of the 1950 the Animal Slaughter Control Act was recently imposed and fixed for this holiday revision. West Bengal state government declared May 28th, tomorrow, as the public holiday for Eid al-Adha. Before, it was originally scheduled for 2 regular working days, May 26th and 27th. And of course, they won't be celebrating, they also call Eid al-Adha as Bakrid, but they won't be celebrating as similar to as what we were seeing as Indonesian Muslims were celebrating it today. Just getting a know-how is because there are cattle farmers in West Bengal who are suffering, because most of these rules are hampering those who want to purchase a sacrificial animal for their sacrifice as well. Just to get a comment from Norman Floyd Barnes, this is a place where religious harmony is being contested, as it challenges the views and the opinions of opposing religious factors. And of course, if you look at global geopolitics, religion does play a very important role. If not, geopolitics would take a different shape, as I see it. So I want to get a know-how from Norman Floyd Barnes. How do you see this? The same ritual being performed in different rules, in different patterns, in different continents. How do you value this update?
Yes, this sacred ceremony of the sacrifice is a very important role in regards to the secular religion. Here in the United States, we do not have that issue because most of the people here have other opportunities to participate in their within their religious group and their communities. But the issue comes back to affordability and the need to continue tradition. Because of the world situation, because of the hardship that the average people are experiencing, it is becoming increasingly difficult for these traditional ceremonies to continue, because basically you mentioned the farmers can't afford it. They cannot afford it. There's no way of them recouping the cost, no way of them sustaining it. There's no way of them to sell their products. So it's becoming very increasingly frustrating for Muslims and people just general on dealing with their day-to-day life. This is a very important tradition. And because of the world events, it's being affected, and people are not very happy about unable to fulfill their traditions. And they are blaming the governments. They are putting this on basically, I cannot participate in my ancestry traditions because of your decisions the government is making. The world is dealing with a few bunch of business seeking profiteers. They are affecting our quality of life. So people are remembering this, and they are acting out, and particularly here in the United States, when it comes to the voting times in the polls, the government is going to suffer because if I can't have my quality of life, how can I support or willing to support what you want to do? So remember, our elected officials are representatives of the people. So the people are not happy. The politicians are not going to be very comfortable and stable in their positions. So we got to understand that people must continue what they do day to day. A few people talking about money and profits and how things are working, restrictions and sanctions. These are things that is man-made, and they will cause real problems because people have deep memories. And when you get down to the point of, I can't practice what I believe in my religion, I'm going to have a problem with the government. I'm going to have a real problem, and it's not going to be tolerated very well.
Right, and as I take from Norman Floyd's statements, very interesting issues that you've risen. The quality of life must be ensured by the government in the face of the mass people. It is a very important topic as we draw some contrasts between this ritual being celebrated by Muslims worldwide, the conditions in which Indonesians are going to celebrate it in comparison to those in the West Bengal state of the Union of India. Very important discussion. However, it is time to take a short commercial break. Afterwards, we look at some of the issues that pertain to the law and order situation in our country here at home in Bangladesh.
To address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on SATV and SATV Digital. Hello and welcome to International Affairs, and my name is Shamsul Pantho.
I don't see an easy resolution to this because every slight deviation from the plan,
Opening an open war conflict with them.
testing nuclear missiles.
Russia's announcement of these supposedly successful testing.
Special and exclusive footage that is being played on SATV's screen.
Really coming to terms with Hamas.
Damage estimated between this entire issue.
President Trump is expected to hold bilateral talks.
Preserving biodiversity and tackling climate change.
We cannot protect the planet before we negotiate peace.
Where is it going? Is it understanding the needs of its people before the needs of this global world?
For China to come to agreement,
They will face better projects.
With presidency of China and President Lee of South Korea.
Trump's White House that is in favor of these things.
simply not enough action being taken to address the problem of fossil fuels.
What their plan initially is towards the Caribbean, a place that has been met with two types of disasters.
Bangladeshi students at the same level of opportunity internationally and domestically.
International Affairs. Watch every Sunday to Thursday at 2 p.m. only on Welcome back on International Affairs. I want to thank Norman Floyd Barnes for joining in on various issues from around the world as we were speaking regarding Middle East, regarding the festival of sacrifice, Eid al-Adha being celebrated worldwide inside Indonesia as well as India, and much of more updates from around the world. However, focusing on some of the issues here in Bangladesh, the law and order situation. Last week, 7 days ago, we've seen a heinous murder of an 8-year-old child. And ever since then, the situation has been taking a turmoil. Various similar incidents have been happening across the country with the law, the members of law, the civil society, the police forces being overwhelmed in certain cases, as well as the state of Salimpur, Union Salimpur in Chittagong, a 3,100 acre of land that was previously occupied by miscreants which have been cleared out. However, in the latest offensive, they have dug out trenches in this very place, which the police have recovered several Rapid Action Battalion members. But overall, while the Eid is happening, while this situation takes place, want to get a comment from Dr. Khusru Samad. How do you see this event unfolding?
Thank you very much. There are two issues. Let me focus on the Selimpur first.
Please.
Well, in this table, for the couple of the months back, we focused the Selimpur issue. Then let us take the very fundamental things of the Selimpur. It is the one of the part of the Chittagong, and the very nomenclature is self-explanatory, jungle Selimpur. So it's a really thickly vegetated jungle, and usually the common people is very hard job to enter and go inside. Take the advantage, some miscreants, as you uttered the word, I also agree with you. They used to take place since long, and they make it it's a place for the drug trafficking, smuggling, specific smuggling of the weapons, and many things. So it was a must to recover this place from the miscreants. As I said, last couple of the months back, as you said, police, paramilitary, RAB, BJP, and thing is that army was incorporated.
4,000 members strong.
Exactly. Even tank was there. The irony part is that this is not the job of the army. Army usually do the job for the foreign attacks of the foreign, and the domestic matter should be dealt with the other military organization, paramilitary organization, as I said. But that was a must, because previously there are the sporadic incidences by the miscreants, and that could not be finalized, the issue. Ultimately, that somehow the attack was, leaked, and all the miscreants fled away. However, the things maybe it was recovered, and ultimately things was settled, and we are giving a very good blow. Okay, this sounds good. And there is there is a BOP, border outpost.
Outpost, right.
But outpost was made, and a few persons of the RAB, Rapid Action Battalions, police was designated to there, but at that time there was none was there. As you said, they invaded. Likely the criminals mastermind is a Yasin, so far my memory goes. Yasin and his gang, they have entered, and the weapons or the sophisticated device as they use, as you said, it is a military issue. So that was my personal part, that we should investigate, not should be taken as a casual by some miscreants that will be masking or camouflage their offense, their magnitude of the technology apply, their magnitude of the weapon apply, the magnitude of the force apply. It should be, investigated thoroughly, whether the interest of any foreign countries, neighboring countries, many countries might be there. There are many countries against they are doing the interest of the Bangladesh. So there is every risk to be invaded through this way. So let us check it back. And my recommendation as a military analytic, that must be dealt in a very serious way, and the cause should be found out. Number one. Number two, as you said, there is a very tragic event. It is very tragic on the as you father, you are a father, I am a father. To utter these things is very hard job for all of us. Right. However, for the safety of our next generation, it should be clear. As we come to know the history, there is a girl named Ramisa. She is class 2, and her neighbor, the miscreants was there, and that miscreants raped her and killed very brutally. His throat was cut thoroughly, and ultimately it was disclosed. And sarcastically, his wife was involved. Ultimately, let us see why she was involved. It will be found out. Now, my point, from the doctor's point of view, in the previous years, there is only one issue where the rape was proved and the punishment was given to the criminals. That is only one issues. Why it was not proved? Why it was not proved? Sorry, I lost the train. This is Latiful Haq, the owner of the Prothomalo. Why I said he is very influential, he is a giant. So his daughter, he given the tremendous influences upon the media, and his Prothomalo is widely circulated. That is very transparent.
That is only one issue.
So it becomes a world issue. So there is pressures to the government from the media, from the bureaucrats, from the technocrats, from the illiterate person. I mean, they made processions, and all people from all corners, including the foreign also. So it was possible to find it out. Even then, it took 2 years. And the criminal who had been in the jail, he crossed on the 4 Eid and put on the new dresses, eat the special dishes. So you see, and if it goes year by year, it becomes a very delay process. And the red trapezoid made increase of the incidences. So why it happened from the doctor's point of view? Usually the things which is above the beyond question, that is the presence of the sperm in the body of the victim. But what happened on ground? When the victim, usually a child, she did not dreamt of the bad dream throughout her life or the family. So she could not, compare. And the feeling of the guilt, feeling of the suicidal tendency, feeling of the severe depression, she tried to wipe out the concerned structure. Ultimately, that was the main point to be proved, but it lost. However, another agony is that when it was taken to the police custody, the police, the way he is interrogated, she did not hear. She is not habituated. So it is give the second trauma. First trauma was by the rapist, and second trauma is not that of the lesser than the first trauma. When it was given to the doctor's part, I must say this is a very primitive system. I'm very shy to say, but it's called the two finger. The very nomenclature is self-explanatory. It becomes a second, third trauma to her. And usually the forensic expert is very few for the female doctors. So naturally she again exposed to the doctors, and it was examined very primitive way. And the doctors, as I said, this is also usually male. So again the fourth trauma. Last not the least, when he talked to the court, again the total system is hostile to her, and again she is asked very raw language and colloquial language. It again became the trauma, and ultimately she psychologically break down. She withdraw her complaint, and she said, no, I should not go for any complaint. That was automatically. So she refrained from that. Another thing is that usually the rapists are very powerful and are politically influences or the other influences by men. So they create tremendous pressure to the victim's family that you should, you should refrain from the taking in the jail or other things. So they might even kill. Naturally, the poor people, they cannot fund the lawyer's fee to come to the total system. Ultimately, we saw it is very hard job. But one thing I must say, it is not the problem of the poor people. It is not the problem of the Bangladesh. It's a global problem. If we can remember that even the celebrity of the Hollywood, they also made a campaign. And they have expressed her own experience to come to this place. And we saw that usually the rapists are the closed door neighbor, uncle, grandfathers, cousin brothers, even brother and the very close persons, because they have the free access to come to the bedroom, and none they are accepted. So that usually happened. So our message, we should be very careful of our daughter, and we should be very vigilant whoever the persons who enter our domestic area.
Thanking Dr. Khosrow Samad, very important stage-by-stage breakdown of the problem of the fabric of society and how it is broken every now and then. Of course, it adds on to the statement, justice delayed is a justice denied, as I build on from Dr. Khosrow. Thank you so much for appearing here on International Affairs. I thank you for your participation and your time, as well as Norman Floyd Barnes for joining us from Washington, District of Columbia, numerously helping this program with perspectives from Washington. I want to end today by wishing everyone an Eid al-Azha Mubarak for the festival of sacrifice. I hope that everyone's sacrifice is granted by the Creator, by the one we know as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to thank everyone, including the production team, for helping me out on presenting on this very program as well. Wishing everyone an Eid al-Azha Mubarak. See you all on next week's International Affairs.